Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. I hope you enjoyed the Breakfast of Champions at 6 a.m. today. Office hours at 5 a.m. We were already rocking and rolling here. Training starts in 3 hours. It's Ask Me Anything Friday. So break your own questions. I'll bring the answers. Jump on. We'll have a great time. Clubhouse or on all other platforms. We're there. You can join, of course. Very good. Chris Johnson, my man, is here. What's up? The NBA super trainer, the master trainer of the NBA, D-Wade, LeBron, all the greats that are there. He is the guy. If you're not following Chris Johnson, you must be following. All right, let's take a quick question or two as we're going through this. How can entrepreneurs use time to their advantage? That's funny. That's a question that came up today on the office hours and on Clubhouse. So time is so important because it's spiral. It's not linear. Thoughts are so critical in time because your thoughts travel faster than the speed of light, which means your thoughts transcend time. That's why our thoughts can distinguish and go backwards to the past. Our thoughts can focus in on the present, and they actually can manifest the future. Our thoughts move faster than the speed of light. But we live in the man-made construct of time 24 hours a day. And Chris Johnson, as he stated earlier, can do the breakdown to the thousands and thousands of seconds that we have every day. And so you need to blend linear time with the spiral of time and understand, how do I have man-made constructs, pragmatic practices that allow me to utilize activities in time here, but also transcend time with my thought. Awesome thoughts and questions. Thank you so much. What mistake have you made recently, and what did you learn from it? Well, I make mistakes every day, and the lessons keep on coming from those mistakes. I like to say that I have indicators, not mistakes. So for me, pain is an indicator that I have a lesson to learn. Other people would say that's a mistake, but that which exists from the mistakes that I made, pain is an indicator that I have a better direction to go. I don't know what I don't know. Implementing radical humility in order to do so. I think the biggest lesson I've learned is about purpose. And the mistake that I made is to confuse my purpose from what people constructively think it should be compared to my purpose is what my thoughts of purpose are. And most importantly, I made the mistake of coping with that. So just allowing my emotions to get in the way, to be manipulated, oversold, back-end sold, because I was not utilizing my own pragmatic practices in order to effectuate the coping mechanisms that are necessary to call people out on their lies, to go ahead and stand up for what the truth is. And there's a fine balance between letting people on their journey do what they do, and when it starts affecting you and your family, to speak up about that. So, the truth vibrates the fastest, and I'm still learning that lesson to go ahead and speak the truth, think the truth, and hold people to the truth. How do I create such compelling questions on your podcast? How do you create such compelling questions on your podcast? Being more interested than interesting is the key. Really seeing, where and how we can all learn by asking more questions about what people do today, what they like about it, what don't they like about it, and getting deep inside, not just the conscious mind, but the subconscious and unconscious behavior that is compelled by that continuum that exists. And I think doing your research, being more interested than interesting, and getting alignment beforehand, and then allowing myself to be more interested than interesting allows you to ask compelling questions and to get people to open up. We got so many great people in here. Let's take another question, and then I have Amberly waiting there for me. We got to set up CJ. Chris Johnson wants to go live, man. We got to make sure that we get him scheduled somewhere in here. Maybe I can get him after Amberly if he's still around. What is the Friday training topic this week or next? Mikey, why don't you go ahead and post up what this week is? Bring your own questions. I'll bring the answers. Ask me anything. Next week's training, Mikey's going to go ahead and post it up there, or Jake. Go ahead, look that up for me, and tell me what next week training is on. I'd love to know myself. All right, Amberly is here. Let me see here. Amberly Lago as and so we're looking the best-selling author of True Grit and Grace. There she is. Your timing is perfect. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm so excited to talk with you. And I have to say, so we just did an event together, the Quantum Leap Forum, and I noticed you were in your closet, I think, for that event.
Still am.
And so I am actually in my closet. The gardeners came right before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go in the closet.
It's a good place. I'm going to create the Meltzer closets, convertible closets. Have an office, a studio, your clothes, maybe even a little bed, TV. We'll see. We'll see what we're going to do. But the Meltzer convertible closets are my lessons from the pandemic. But I adore you and your message and mindset because I've been studying myself temperance and learning about temperance using a metal analogy. If you use too much hot water, too much persistence, your metal's brittle. If you use too much cold water, that patience and faith, your metal's brittle. There has to be this perfect blend that confuses the heck out of everyone. That to me is so counterintuitive, that you can be a ferocious Buddha, that you can have the persistence of a pit bull holding onto a tire, but the allowance and patience of a Buddha. What are some of the key understandings or mindsets that you've implemented in order to have this beautiful temperance in your life, to have grit and grace?
Well, I love that you talk about how pain is a good indicator. And I think pain for me, because I was in a horrible motorcycle accident and live with daily chronic pain, that it has taught me the grit to keep moving forward. So that's where my passion and perseverance comes into play. I love grit. I love getting gritty. I love what I do. I love work. It doesn't feel like work. I love go, go, go. And I love adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie. But I have learned through my pain that it does take a lot of grace. And I think with what's going on right now, we have to give ourselves a lot of grace. And so if that means, doing things from your closet or in the home pandemic, because, I'm home doing virtual school with my daughter. And I know I love when I see your son on here with you. And so it does take, you got to know when to, push further than when you thought you could go, and when to kind of give yourself the grace to pause and listen to your body and have that faith that you can keep moving forward. So it does take a lot of grit and grace. And I love what you share, David, a lot. You talk a lot about gratitude. And when you share your story, I always cry. I think I even cried on our podcast interview when you were on the podcast. I was like, every time I hear you, you make me cry. I think because I'm so touched by your story and your words, and I relate to them so much.
And for you, how does forgiveness, with that pain and temperance and grace, how does forgiveness fit into your mindset on, where to place our forgiveness, when to utilize forgiveness, and what forgiveness means to you?
Forgiveness for me, I think it really set in when I went to the doctor, and I had already had 34 surgeries to ask to save my leg from amputation. And I hated myself. I hated my leg. I hated that it gave me so much pain. I was embarrassed of all the scars. I didn't want anybody to see it. And my doctor actually really taught me forgiveness, because I sat down in front of him and he put my leg in his lap and he looked at it like it was a masterpiece. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's putting my ugly, gross leg in his lap. And the way he looked at it it was like a piece of art. And I thought, if he can look at it that way, maybe I can too. Maybe I can show myself some forgiveness and acceptance. And it was hard at first, but little by little, one day at a time, I started to forgive myself. And instead of looking down at my leg and hating it, I would look down at it with gratitude for being able to stand, being able to heal. And I think that forgiveness really started with forgiving myself for mistakes I've made, so I could then make decisions to move forward and have a better life and be the best version of myself. So I think sometimes it really helps if we have people around us that can look at us with forgiveness and acceptance, and that helps us move forward.
Absolutely. And it's interesting too, because I always say there's layers of indicators that the universe loves to give us. And when we're dealing with our personal health, that's one thing, but it seems as if because of our man-made constructs of insurance and healthcare in America, that whenever we have great challenges or indicators in our life that we have lessons to learn physically, emotionally, then comes this pragmatic world of debt that, it's almost, I would say 2 years before I went bankrupt, I hit rock bottom, and it prepared me for the next layer or indicator that I was going to face, which was all the effects of the causes that I created. And I had to retest my fortitude and gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. You face the same exact thing, multiple surgeries, emotional, physical pain. And now, you finally kind of make it out of there, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I'm millions of dollars in debt.
I
And
had $2.9 million worth of debt. I had lost my career. We had a lien on our house just to pay for some medical procedures that weren't covered by insurance. And I was the main breadwinner of the family. My husband is a retired lieutenant commander with a highway patrol, and he was working at the time. And thank goodness he could take off work to help take care of me. I couldn't even get up out of bed most of the time. But I had a doctor that was like, well, you're going to be permanently disabled. You need to stay in your wheelchair with your leg up, and you'll never work again. And I was like, that's not the life for me. That is not, I am meant for more. I want to do more with my life. And so I had to reinvent myself. And I thought, well, I might not be able to stand up and train people. I was a fitness trainer. And so I went and learned how to be a life coach. And I already had experience from working with people one-on-one for years. And so instead of sitting there going, oh, why me? Why am I in so much debt? I was like, it is time to get gritty. It's time to see what I can do. And, that's where the gratitude comes into play as well, because when I really got grounded with gratitude, it allowed me to see what was possible, the things that I still could do, and the things that I still had, and what was important to me. And so little by little, I was able to start coaching clients again. Little by little, I was like, oh, I found that glimmer of hope. And sometimes I think all we need is that glimmer of hope to carry us through. And especially at times like this, where there are a lot of people struggling financially, even health-wise, is all we need is that glimmer of hope to just get through the day, one day at a time. And that takes persistence and consistency. And it really takes tapping in to your why, your purpose. And that's what kept me going. Faith, and also knowing that I could help others to still have hope and be inspired. And so I decided to write a book, and that helped too, because that was able to open some doors for me, and I was able to continue working. So just because somebody says, oh, you'll never do something, there's always going to be naysayers out there. But, if you have that mindset and you have that belief in yourself, then I think anything is possible. If I can climb out of that darkness, get out of that debt, start reinvent myself. Anybody who's listening right now, you're never too old. You don't need to have the best education out there. You just need to start.
You're absolutely right. And your book is so inspiring in that respect. And everybody can get it everywhere. It's a best-selling book, True Grit and Grace, where you tell your story and show your and give your lessons for all of us of resilience and healing and grit and allowance, which I love. People also can find you at thecoachingmasters.com, where you can help also with day-to-day perception and activities that can help us all achieve what we want. I was just talking before you came on, thinking of you, of how our thoughts actually move faster than time. And you've been able to empower people with the right thoughts as well as the right actions with that consistent, persistent behavior to pursue their potential or their why. I'm just so grateful for you coming on, Amberly. It's been incredible to meet you. We need to do more. Please go out, get the book, True Grit and Grace, follow and search out thecoachingmasters.com. And Amberly Lago, thank you so much for joining me at Amberly Lago Motivation. Check her out.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm such a big fan, David. Thank you so much.
We're mutual fans. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Amazing. All right. Amberly, thank you for joining me. All right. Here we are running down. Let's answer a few more questions, get warmed up for today. Yes, we can help you get a book. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. My text is 949-298-2905. You can go ahead. We'll send you out, shipmeyourbook.com as well. I ship all my books for free, sign them, pay for shipping. There's no hidden costs. There's no getcha gotchas moments there. Just reach out, david@dmeltzer.com. Training today is in 2 hours and 43 minutes. That's 11 a.m. Pacific time. You bring the questions, I'll bring the answers. So if you don't get to go live now, just come join me on Clubhouse, on Instagram Live, on my training. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Let's take some questions to get warmed up for today. We love you, David. Have you written any books yet? Yeah, I have 4 books for you, my friend. Email me. I'm happy to give them to you. david@dmeltzer.com, and more than happy, or shipmeyourbook.com. You can check that out as well. That'll get you a book. I'll sign it, send it to you. I got 4 of them, 4 different books for you. All right, let's take another question. Thank you. Here we go. What are you most grateful for today? I am most grateful for the ability, the superpower, the Viktor Frankl in me of finding the light, the love, and the lessons in all my activities. I'm so grateful that I've practiced a muscle of finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything, to find the superpowers in all the people that are around me, to look at things and find the lessons in them. You know, fear and excitement is God talking to me that I have a lesson to learn. Fear and excitement is God's lesson to me that I have a calling, an indicator that I have a place, a better place to go. Fear and excitement are those, to me, great indicators for me of what is yet to come, a better place, a better position, or better people. I see there David Marino, the amazing David Marino. If you're not following him, check him out. He's one of my business partners in New York City, which I have not been to in a long time, since David Marino's wedding. Actually, it was the last time I was in New York City with my friends from Catch, and just had an extraordinary time. What time now? Where it is here, 8:18 Pacific time. At 11 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to do free training every Friday for over 20 years. I've done free training. If you miss any of this stuff, it's all on the playbook. My podcast is called The Playbook, and we have almost 700 episodes and still rolling. The millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, and every training I've done there, featured on Spotify, Entrepreneur, Google, iTunes, everywhere. Just search The Playbook, download it, share it, like it. We're all over it. All righty. Let's take another question here. Oh, actually, let me take that one off real quick. We got, just keep moving. 11 a.m. BYOQ. What do you do 1 hour before you sleep? So I have an unwinding routine. My tomorrow starts today. So I don't like the man-made constructs of time. My tomorrow starts today. So my calendar is a little bit weird because at 9 p.m. tonight, that's my tomorrow. And I utilize an unwinding routine where I take out any interference, any corrosion, avoidance, obstacles, shortages that get in the way of me exhausting my emotional side so that I can connect to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons and power, and also rest my embodiment, my body, so that I can recover and start tomorrow at a plateau. Don't roll the boulder to the top of the hill just to have it come down to the bottom every single day. There's so much more to your day and what you can do. Awesome. How do you better in technical recruiting, like the sales aspect? I'll tell you, I have a private sales group you should join, because that is about credibility, emotional attachment, articulating a value far greater than that what you're asking for. And I can provide unbelievable week to week, step by step, one-on-one training for you. If you email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Anyone interested in a private group with me, I'm starting a new one, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Please email me. Happy to help. As always, if you want my books, guys, exercises, training, just reach out. It's right there. All right, let's keep this rolling. I'm getting warmed up for today at 11 a.m. What's your takeaway of the week? That the thoughts of my purpose are my purpose and how to cope with it. The thoughts of my purpose is my purpose and how to cope with it. It is transcending grace and grit. It allows me to utilize where I live today and where I want to be in that process of thought moving faster than the speed of light. What's the biggest brand building tip? Consistent, persistent branding of yourself, not trying to recognize how big the scope and scale of the audience is. So your focus of building a brand should be to strengthen your signal, understand your spectrum better, and have a clearer message. If you can strengthen your signal through better content and more content, if you can find your spectrum and knowing who your audience is, who's tuning into your frequency, and clarifying your message so that everyone there can if you can clarify your message so everyone, it's not what you say, it's what they're hearing. If they're hearing what you're saying, that's a good thing. All right, I'm gonna start a little bit early with my friend from the Modern Pop. I love that. The Modern Pop. At Modern Pop, which is so cool. Julie is here joining me. She is the co-founder of Modern Pop, themodernpop.com. Good morning.
I am so excited to be here. How are you? Good.
You're so colorful. I was like, I love the energy and the scenery that I get to see, and your packaging is so colorful as well, and your products are so delicious beyond being packaged correctly to get the attention of people. I want to know, number one, what you're doing during COVID, because you're such a special person in helping so many people. I'd love to know kind of where you went. And I always say the greatest thing about the pandemic is it provided a lot of problems and a lot of need. And I'm just a consummate entrepreneur. So when I see problems and need, I say to myself, huge opportunities to make money, help people, and have fun. I know other people don't necessarily subscribe to that, but it has helped me along the way. And I just know your history. And I'm like, Julie's my kind of gal. She has the exact same perspective that I have. And you use, such a fun, delicious, great product in order to help people. So I want to give you the platform of what we're doing today, and then we'll move forward to some of your mindset issues.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to see you face to face, David, because I've been a huge fan from afar for a long time. So I appreciate you having me on. I think more than ever in today's day and age and, under COVID circumstances, people miss connecting. And I think that there's such a need for it. And so, as kind of, this emerging brand and this colorful kind of lifestyle brand, we've constantly kind of been thinking about, how and what do our customers want from us, right? And how can we provide them with not only, a better for you product with clean label ingredients, simplicity and transparency in labels, but, how can we really have that energy that they feed off of, and how can we kind of be more relatable than another brand on shelf? I think there's so many different products out there. And so for us, it's really, how can we be a superior product and kind of have this premium offering, but how can we do it differently? And what else can we make that consumer feel? And with frozen novelties, it's something that everyone can relate to. Your grandparents can relate to it, your kids can relate to it, and how can we do it in a more fun and kind of colorful way? And so, you know, I think that there's been a lot of opportunities to reach that consumer through social media. You know, I think not only using the brand, but kind of in personal branding way, kind of relating to that consumer and speaking to that mom that's really searching for a better for you dessert. And so kind of by using not only Twitter, but using LinkedIn to connect with an audience, using Instagram, using TikTok to make things fun and to amplify with music and kind of, you know, Elvis Presley and this kind of old school, new twists on old classics kind of relationship. I think that there's limitless options, really.
It's so amazing because, you know, you take spaces that seem to be crowded, and there's this huge genre of how do we make something that's good for you taste great, and then how do we market it and tell a story to distinguish ourselves in that market. And I already saw there's a pop shop in Long Beach that want to carry the modern pop, so make sure that we get that info to you. But looking at it for me, you know, the market in that messaging for me gets crowded. And what are some of the distinguishing marketing tools that you've used, or messaging tools? I know that you've used kind of oldie but goodies in a twisted way to create a modern pop, which is cool. It's so good. But you know, where do you see how people can appreciate the difference of what you're doing in a very crowded space?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's an extremely competitive space. You know, there's big incumbent companies that have been there for a long time that have dominated this category. Truly, like looking at the product quality, we use whole fruit as a first ingredient across all of our frozen novelty bars, which no other brand does. And so you can really taste the quality, the seeds, the premium kind of attributes that it has. We're the only frozen fruit bar that is 100% plant-based. So we use only drops of agave rather than using cane sugar, which is a refined sugar. It's really a taste profile. So when people taste them, we really have seen that stickiness of consumer that comes back and wants it again, which is exciting. So for us, you know, as an emerging brand, it's really a marketing, you know, how do we get in front of the consumer? How do we share the story? And so that's kind of been, you know, creative and something that we've really worked with a lot.
And you've really touched on how to disrupt, you know, the incumbent distributors and manufacturers in an industry, because, you know, I always talk about, as you know, in personal branding, we can't fathom the size, scope, and scale of this audience. Someone asked before these branding tips from me, and I said, you got to strengthen your signal, really know your spectrum, and then also have a very clear message, right? It's not what we say. And I see a lot of brands intend to be one thing, but people are hearing a completely different story or frequency or communication.
Yeah.
There's two schools that I look at. There's the well-financed school, which says we now can reach billions of people. Let's go to market and have the least expensive product.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other school that goes quality and says, because there's billions of people,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to provide the best, and I'm going to provide a fair price to the best. And a certain portion of the audience that's now so large is just going to want the best. And
Right.
they'll be willing to pay for the best. And that's how those brands are built. You know, when you made that decision, because, you know, as a startup and emerging company, it's scary to create a product that's the best because it's much, 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 much more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And the market is much, much, much more segmented to start.
Right.
And so survival rate becomes a fear or resistance of a lot of entrepreneurs like yourself. What did you use in order to, you know, take on that discipline and strategy with the awareness of what you were doing, that the timing and risk tolerance is much different than someone coming out with just the cheapest product?
Right. So, I mean, our mission has always we want to bring the highest quality ingredient fruit bar, and we want to bring it to the masses. Like, we think that you know, most people that are looking for a simple ingredient fruit bar are willing to pay 50 cents or $1 more, based on the fact that, you know, it's about being healthy and it's about what you're feeding your kids. And so, you know, we've never diluted our product, and we've also never diluted our price point. I think that, you know, we obviously can be that premium and drop down a little bit on promotions. But we don't want to be, you know, a $2.99 box of 4 frozen fruit bars, because then we're competing against, like you said, these big incumbent companies, and we're also competing against private label. And that's not our customer. We're really speaking to this customer that is a soul cycler. You know, she's a mom looking for something to feed her kids. And that's really how the company started. Was I was a first-time mom and I couldn't find a simple ingredient fruit bar that I felt comfortable with. And I think moms are the best entrepreneurs because they, you know, they figure it out. They always figure it out for their kids. And so when there was that need, you know, we really were able to fill that problem, and it became, you know, this great passion. I mean, you never know, you know, where it's going to go, but here I am, you know, looking like a popsicle myself. And, you know, I think that, there's a way to be a premium brand and to embody more than just a premium product. It's really like a lifestyle. And so I think that is ultimately what will separate you from, you know, your competitors.
Absolutely. Last question real quick. Utilizing that understanding, I got involved in sports as a salesperson. One of my favorites part is Lee Steinberg, who was, you know, the Jerry Maguire featured mentor of mine. He always said, you know what makes sports great, Dave, for a guy like you, is that the irrationality, and this is way back when, of middle-aged men. Now it's just the irrationality of middle-aged people. But originally it was middle-aged men, that you would spend $1,000, you know, for a picture with a signature on it, or a ball with a signature on it, or a baseball card. Now it's like millions of dollars. I'm in the card business, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, millions of dollars for these cards that I hung on to are ridiculous. But the important thing I learned through working in sports was there's one thing that people are willing to spend their money on more than sports: the emotional side, not the credibility, but it's their children. You know, I own part of a quarterback camp, and, you know, Steve Clarkson would pay, you know, he coached Will Smith's kids and Gretzky's kids and even Montana's kids, which always surprised me. But he
Right.
taught me the lesson. Even my own kids won't listen to me, even though I'm the greatest quarterback. You know, so Tom Brady, look out, your kids aren't going to listen to you either. But parents were willing to starve, like literally not feed themselves, to get their kids quarterback training or going to music camp or whatever it was.
Right.
I think, you know, the biggest attribute of modern pop is there's nothing I can think of more compelling than my child's health. I always tell people I want 4 things from my child. I want them to tell me every day, I'm healthy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy, I love you, and I appreciate you, meaning they are aware that I bring value to their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what modern pop does. You allow parents to make sure their kids are healthy, happy, love them, and appreciate them. And what a compelling event to purchase that. And there's no price, if marketed correctly or branded correctly, you could put on it. How much of that emotional aspect is true for you in building the company and building the brand?
Yeah. No, I think you bring up really great points. I mean, I think that some of the in mails and some of our emails that we get from parents or from, you know, people that are just diabetic looking for alternatives. We also have a frozen fruit bar line that is made with avocado. So these are entirely non-dairy. They have no allergens. So a lot of people, you know, are allergic to nut allergens or coconut milk, which a lot of these non-dairy bars have. So these are made with avocado and made with avocado oil. And so they really capture, I mean, there's a need for these products. This isn't just like I'm throwing another, you know, popsicle on the shelf. People really have dietary restrictions. And so when we get these inbound emails, you know, saying like, hey, you know, I found this for my son, and, you know, he is, you know, he has an allergen to milk, and this is such a great alternative. He doesn't even know that there's avocado in it. And when I told him, he couldn't believe it. I mean, those things pull on my heartstrings because, you know, we're really filling this need for people. And I think that, you know, it's just incredible to be able to do that and to actually live your passion and to be so, you know, starry-eyed over your own product. I mean, I feel like I am like half popsicle, like as we talk, but I think that, you know, why not have fun with it? And why not kind of bring back those like more simpler times? I think that's what everyone's kind of in search for, is just like let's go back there and not have like, you know, 20,000 video games. Let's just have a popsicle on the front patio of your porch, right? So it's that relationship and that emotional connection, to, you know, the parent that's emailing me, or to, you know, the relationship it has with my own kids, and the fact that they still eat them, you know, like, I mean, we've been doing this for like 5 or 6 years, is really rewarding.
Well, I love people that are in love with their own product, and also warn them, be careful if you're in love with your own product and building a business, because very hard to blend that. Now, I also think that you have a very middle America, Midwestern attitude toward your company, but I heard you say the word pop, and I was wondering if you are from the Midwest by chance.
No, I'm a Jersey girl.
Really?
That's why I'm so like, you know, I went to college in the Midwest. I went to school in Ohio. So
Oh, I was
got
gonna
a
say,
little
because
taste.
you said pop like a person from Ohio or Michigan.
I don't know, pop. I say orange too. Brooks,
Yeah.
my son always is like, orange? You know, what are you saying? But no, I'm a Jersey girl, and I'm a proud Jersey girl. I think people from New Jersey are awesome if you're out there. And I think having all of those different experiences, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, for college, I mean, it gives you a great perspective, you know, on the country and on, you know, people in general, because, you know, there's a lot of different types of people out there.
Yeah, when I moved from Ohio to San Diego, that was the first thing they pointed out. I asked for a pop, and they're like, "What is that?" And then you go to Texas, and it's just Dr. Pepper.
Right,
So,
right.
but Modern Pop, what a great story! What a great business! What a great brand! And what an important brand. I suggest everyone reach out to modernpop.com, at Modern Pop. And I am just so grateful that you're sharing that journey, Julie, with us. You're an epitome of what I look for, especially in young women entrepreneurs, setting those milestones for more. And go Jersey. We appreciate you. Anywhere else that people can find you in the
Yes.
product?
Okay. So this, woo, you just fell. You fell, David.
That's okay.
I'm still here. You have to look for them. Anyone that's listening, we're in Sprouts. We're in Kroger. So we're in Ralph's. We are in Gelson's. We're in Bristol Farms. We're in Whole Foods Market. We are, you know, in any kind of natural retailer, very much Southern California focused, and California. I would urge you to try the Made with Avocado bars. We have a great new shape that we just actually launched. The fruit bars are fantastic. You can always reach out to me. I always want to give everyone my cell phone. My husband's like, what are you doing? But
Me
I
too.
really appreciate, I would love for you to try them. It's themodernpop.com, at themodernpop, and I'm Julie with The Modern Pop. And David, I truly appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I'm going to buy some more this weekend, because it's getting really warm here, and there's nothing better than sitting on my porch and having a Modern Pop. So thank you so much. We'll have you on again. Take care, Julie.
Have a great day.
You too. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Themodernpop.com, at Modern Pop. What a delightful entrepreneur. It's not so hard. You can have fun doing it. And I love the energy, the attitude, the color. In about 2.5 hours, we're going to do training, BYOQ, bring the questions, I'll bring the answers. Ask me anything. Join me on all my platforms. Download the playbook if you miss any of the trainings. Get my exercises, my guides, my books. All are free. Shipmeyourbook.com. Right there, pin below. Join me, 949-298-2905. Email me for anything. I'm like Julie. Email me for anything. Call my cell phone. I don't care. David@dmeltzer.com. Love to hear from you. Love to help you. Love to be of service. I'm going to take one more question, and then we're going to get ready for training. Here we are. What are your favorite movies of all time? Rocky, Rudy, Greatest Showman, Shawshank Redemption, just off the top of my head. I do like Kung Fu Panda as well. Just amazing. Aaron Wex, what's going on, brother? I see you there. Everybody, thank you so much. Colleen, I see you as well. Remember, everyone, join me in a couple hours. Bring your own questions. I'll bring the answers. Download the playbook. It has everything on there. Billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs. You got it. Those are the two. And if you forget everything I say, it's just david@dmeltzer.com. Pin below. You can reach me anywhere, david@dmeltzer.com. I look forward to being of service. Most importantly, I'll see you guys soon, but be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I'll see you at 11 a.m. Pacific. Thank you.